Hey, welcome back to the channel. And I'm glad that you're here with Kelsey Laka and myself, and for another social media workshop brought to you by Ignite the Wealth. So Ignite the Wealth is all about helping businesses light the fire, find the money, ignite your business, blow it up, right? And so this series that we're doing is about social media, because social media is one of those things that whether you like it or you don't like it, you got to have it. So this week, what we're bringing to you is all about how to measure growth. So just a little refresher, Kelsey and I are mother-daughter entrepreneurs that we joined forces and we launched Ignite the Wealth. And we are here to help small businesses grow and find the wealth. And so this series has to do with social media strategies and marketing. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the training. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about measuring growth for your social media. So what does that mean? Well, social media growth refers to the increase of number of followers, likes, engagements on a social media platform. It can also refer to the expansion of a brand's presence and reach on social media. So depending on the platform, they all have different metrics, right? And so we're going to kind of generally talk about what you should be looking at today. So Kelsey, why don't you go into what the benefits are of looking at your growth?
Yes. So growth is not always measured. I think a lot of people, there's a huge misconception where people think that growth equals followers, and that's not necessarily, I mean, yes, obviously it's a key indicator of how well your social media is doing, but it's not the only one that should be, focused on. So understanding that and understanding your goals and what is a realistic goal. Is it, yes, I want, and the likelihood of a small account getting 50,000 followers in 2 weeks is pretty small. It can happen. It depends on what you put out, but having that more realistic of like, okay, if I get 2 followers in the next 2 weeks, that's more attainable than having 50 new followers. What strategy are you going to use to get followers? Is it only going to be trending music, trending videos? Is it, what are you going to put out there? And then also taking that moment at each month to say, okay, what worked, what didn't work? I had high engagement here, I had low engagement here. What is the difference? So understanding your goals, defining your strategy, and evaluating your performance, that's going to help you measure your growth. And that's ultimately what's going to help your growth be ignited.
Yes, set it on fire. Now, I'm going to talk about benchmarks and KPIs because I used to do management consulting back in the day. And so we couldn't measure growth without a benchmark and without KPIs. And I'm going to talk more about KPIs in the next slide. But the benchmark is finding out where you're at today. And I want to say this, and I want you to hear me if you're a small business person. A lot of things say, find out what your competitors are doing. And yes, but if they're a lot larger than you, then you're not going to compete. And if your voice is going to be your own and you're going to be authentic, you just have to figure out where you're at today. And then you build your growth based on that, not what everybody else is going to be doing, because your audience is going to be for you, not for everyone else. So you want to focus on just 1 or 2 platforms in the beginning, because you can overwhelm yourself if you're trying to do, 6 or 7 different platforms. You want to define your goals. So you really want to say, okay, I want people to really know who I am, know what my services are. I want to grow by 10% every month, which is a realistic, 6 to 8%, depending on the platform. It just depends on if you have the right message for the right audience, right? So if you have the right audience, the right message, it's going to follow. And then you want to develop your KPI. So I'm going to give you a little activity to help you do that. So first, we're going to go into what is a KPI. So KPI is just key performance indicators. A lot of small businesses don't always use that terminology. It's usually used for, the mega companies or whatnot. But key performance indicators are simply metrics, are the measures of what you're going to use. And so you have to define in your own business, well, do you need more brand awareness? Like, so we're a startup like Ignite the Wealth. Nobody knows who we are. So we're working on brand awareness. We're also working on growing our audience, improving our brand recognition. So under my name, if you Google Nancy Wallace Labs, I got a lot of stuff out there. If you Google Ignite the Wealth, it'll come up Nancy Wallace Labs. So when you start, developing your brand and your voice, you'll get more recognition, and depending on the platform. And then the engagement reach, I have found, is probably the most important KPI. So this is like not how many followers, but how many people are actually engaging with me. They're sharing my content. So that's what we mean by when we say defining your KPIs. And Kelsey, do you have some things that you might want to add to that?
Honestly, I think you hit all the things. Yeah, it's just understanding, like you said, benchmarks, and understanding where you're starting and where you want to end up, and where you want to grow is going to help you. You measure everything when it comes to social media.
Exactly. So now you also want to choose your channels. So, for me, we talked about this in our other video about, where is your audience hanging out? Are they on TikTok? That's kind of a new trending thing. Are they on Twitter? Now X? Are they on Facebook? What kind of reach do you have on Pinterest? A lot of people don't even know. And then I include also email marketing, because I do email marketing. So where are they? What are their preferences? So your audience, so my audience likes emails. My audience is learning to like YouTube because I'm getting better at delivering good content. Kelsey, where's your audience?
I think my audience is wanting to know the tips and wanting to know like day-to-day things, like, just the more fast-paced. Like, that's my audience. Anything that's shareable, anything that they can get something from it, because ultimately, like, who doesn't love free advice at the end of the day? But mine is, I think yours is definitely like long-term with your, you have more of like the real estate side, whereas mine is more of how can I make this one reel stand out this week?
Yes. Yeah. So yours is more, just to kind of break it down, maybe instant gratification.
Yes.
And mine's more, not
Long-term.
sustaining, because, if you're going to do business with people in real estate, you usually want to get to know them pretty good. And then with social media, like we said before, you're going to look that person up. So, but I think too, we want to emphasize that you don't want to get carried away on too many channels, especially if you're first starting out, because you'll have what's that phrase? You'll have quantity over quality, and you want quality over quantity. So
Yes.
Now the activity I'm going to have everybody do. So you can, however you want to do this. I'm an Excel person, maybe you like to write it down, but whatever channel. So pick one or two of your favorite channels that you're already comfortable working with. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to find the metrics, and you can find them both on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. They all have metrics. You might have to search under settings or something like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to find out what your activity is for the last 30 days. So for example, on Instagram, you're going to find out what's your audience, what it'll show you the age, it'll break it down, male, female, break it down like by location. It'll also show you like how many impressions you have, how many likes you have. And what you want to do is just, if you can do 60 days, so you'll do like, let's say January, you did this, and then February you did this, and if you want to include March, but get at least, if you can get 60 days, you don't have to. Now, that is going to be your benchmark, right? So let's say that you do have 2 or 3 months. You're going to add them together, divide it by the number you have. So if you have 2 months worth of data, you're going to add the numbers for each category together, divide it by 2. That's your average. That's your benchmark. So now what you're going to start doing is you're going to measure your growth against your benchmark, not other people. We talked about the competitiveness of social media, and I think people get caught up in that syndrome, the imposter syndrome, right? Where you're like, you get so obsessed with what other people are doing. So remember, it's your audience, your channel. Do what makes you feel comfortable, but you want to measure where you're at today. And like Kelsey said, if you have, 100 followers and you're expecting, 10,000, she gets this a lot where people are, thinking, well, once they hire a social media strategist, they're going to just instantly pop up. But it doesn't work that way.
No.
And because usually the message is not targeted, the audience is not right. And so you don't, unless you have a really awesome, I guess, TikTok and you blow it up, then maybe, if you like to dance. So you're going to set your own benchmark and you're going to measure your growth against that benchmark. And that's just an easy way to get started. It'll make you feel confident about your social media. And it'll also tell you, now I want to just say this, if you start, for example, you start losing people, you start losing followers, don't take that as a negative, because it could mean that maybe your numbers went down for a month or so, but then they start going back up, because why? You're targeting your message,
you're finding your audience.
Exactly. Right. Mm-hmm. So you want to but you have to do this activity to find out where you're at today. And then once you start seeing your growth, then you can actually say, okay, I see that I'm growing at 2% or 5%. And I'll just tell you, like for Instagram, the average growth rate is like 6 to 8% per month, right? So net overall, because you're going to have people drop off and things like that.
Yep.
So we want to thank you for watching us. And we want to invite you to become part of our community. So you can do that in a couple ways. One, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, Nancy Wallace Labs. You can also join our Facebook group, Ignite the Wealth, and give us a like there and a follow. And if you want some more one-on-one assistance, please reach out, either call us or text us at the number there. And we also want to let you know that we have our free gift, which is, Kelsey, tell them about the calendar that you created for everybody.
Yeah. So if you missed last week's, we talked about content calendar planning and why it's important to come up with a content calendar for your social media. But we have done the easy part for you. And I have created a content planner calendar for April to December of 2024. So you have all the prompts already out there. You just have to tailor them to your social media, but that's already done for you. You just have to go click the link below, sign up for that, and you'll get it in your inbox again all the way April to December. And being organized and having your content planned out is the number one to staying consistent on your social media, which is one of the biggest factors when it comes to your growth and how you want to do on there. So again, link below, and it'll be in your inbox as soon as you hit that enter button with your email.
Yes. And then we also want you to stay tuned, because we got some announcements coming up, but we want your feedback on what topics that you struggle with. So leave them in the comments below, and we'll, do some videos about them. And then we're moving towards some exciting news that we'll be sharing with you over the next few weeks. So look forward to that. So, all right, Miss Kelsey, thanks for showing up tonight. And y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.